من همونطور که عرض کردم ما یکی از مشکلات این هست که پیام‌های متضاد سخنان متضاد و گزافه‌گویی‌های غیر منطقی زیاد از طرف آمریکایی‌ها گفته میشه که مخالف هر گونه مسیر مذاکراتی و مسیر دیپلماسی هست. آنچه که گفته شد که آمریکا پیشنهاد ایران رو یا پاسخ ایران به پیشنهاد آمریکایی‌ها رو رد کرده مربوط به چند روز پیش هست که آقای ترامپ توییت زد و گفت که غیر قابل قبول هست ولی بعد از اون ما مجدد پیام‌هایی رو از طرف آمریکایی‌ها گرفتیم که مایل به ادامه گفتگوها و ادامه تعامل هستند. اینکه امروز چطوری دوباره این موضوع بولد شده در رسانه‌ها من اطلاع ندارم، ولی قضیه مربوط به چند روز پیش هست. حمله به تأسیسات هسته‌ای ما یک بار انجام شده، مدعی‌اند که کاملا نابود کردن، ولی الان دوباره حرف از حمله به تأسیسات میزنن. این سخنان متضاد واقعا نشون دهنده عمق سردرگمی آمریکایی‌ها هست نسبت به اهداف اونها در این جنگ. واقعا بسیاری از کشورها همین رو اذعان دارن که آمریکا در یک سردرگمی به سر میبره، هیچ طرحی برای پایان این جنگ نداره، هیچ برداشتی از اهداف خودش در این جنگ حتی نداره، هر روز اهداف متفاوتی رو بیان میکنه و ما امیدوار هستیم که واقعا خرد و منطق به کاخ سفید برگرده.
Mr. Araghchi, this is Manas. I work for PTA, Press Trust of India. It's a newswire of India. Thank you for doing this. The conflict has triggered large-scale economic disruptions globally. And as things stand today, are you hopeful of a negotiated settlement, or is there a possibility of the conflict prolonging and also a kind of risk of resumption of military hostilities between two sides?
Well, both possibilities are there. First of all, this is not our war. We have not initiated this war. It was started by Americans and Israelis. That was an act of aggression. And what we are doing is, and what we did actually was the act of self-defense. So all consequences for the international economy, for the at the regional level, international level, is not our fault. This is the result of aggression by Americans. Well, as I said, the chance for having a diplomatic settlement or going back to a full-scale war is there. I cannot say half and half. As a diplomat, I am optimistic that a diplomatic solution can prevail, but we shouldn't ignore the possibility of going back to a full-scale war. We, as the Islamic Republic of Iran, are prepared for both scenarios. We are prepared to go back to fighting, and we know how to defend ourselves, and we proved that in these 40 days of war, and we are also ready for diplomacy and a diplomatic solution, and we are also know what we want and what we can do and what we can achieve.
If may I ask one supplementary question in this? President Trump has said that he is running out of patience. So what would be your reply?
Well, this is not my fault that he is running out of patience. He has to answer. You know, this is not a question of patient or not. We are dealing with a serious question. This is a question of war and peace. So if they want a negotiated solution, they have to be patient, because it needs complicated, detailed negotiations in order to come to a just, full solution. If they want to go back to war, it's up to them. They have tested us, they can test us again, but the result would not be any different. من ببخشید اون خانم داشتن سوال. بگو من جواب میدم.
His Excellency, there was a lot of hope attached to Islamabad talks. Why have they failed to achieve any outcomes so far?
Well, there is still hope. We couldn't achieve a deal in Islamabad when we met, mostly because of the maximalist positions by the United States and by their well-known behavior that they always shift the goalpost at the very end of negotiations. So we are familiar with those tactics, and we cannot accept anything beyond a fair and balanced deal. This is why we couldn't achieve a deal in Islamabad, and we are still in the process of talks, but a deal can be achieved only when our conditions are met.
Good afternoon, Minister. Good afternoon, Minister. My name is Ashokraj. I'm from the market. I have a question that India, including other countries, are facing severe energy crisis. Despite sanctions, do you agree to provide energy help to India? And are you hopeful that soon air traffic will open?
Well, I think on energy cooperation, everything is clear. We are ready to provide India with energy resources if the India is ready to make a business with us. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that.